Today, I'm going to be digging in on one of my favorite topics. I'm going to be getting on my soapbox and absolutely ranting about something I am deeply passionate about, which is writing in video games. When writing is done well in a game, it brings everything to such a level, such an elevated level, but so many times they just ignore it. So many times a game comes out and the writing is just, it exists. There are characters, they interact, there's other stuff going on, whatever. But the writing is essential and it gets shafted so frequently. It just gets thrown into a back room and some random intern writes the whole story, or better yet, some guy who thinks that he knows how to write because he's been successful in other fields and he goes, yeah, no, I can write the story for this game. Turns out he can do fine. He can make some mediocre story, but he's not practiced in the craft. There is something about good writing that is so easy to overlook and go, yeah, I can do that. And then you don't because you're not that good. You're not that practiced. You're not that skilled. But when we see really good writing, really top tier stuff, we know it. Right? There are games that you can think about the writing and you can think about the story. You can think about the way that it ties into the environment and the storytelling that is happening in the subtle little mind reading moments where a character says something. You go, what do they really mean by that? Oh, it's beautiful. It's incredible. And it is a real craft. And it gets ignored far too often. The reason I'm talking about it today is because I have a good example to draw from. It's too easy for me to rant about this from a negative perspective, but today I have been inspired. I have played the first few hours of a game that made me go, oh my God, this is what I've been looking for in terms of video game writing. This is exactly the kind of thing that is made for me. It may not be for everybody, but the writing in this game, Expedition 33, is perfect for where I am in my life right now. At least the first 2 or 3 hours of it. Who knows? Maybe it'll go horribly wrong later, as so many giant JRPGs often do. Let me get something out there right off the bat. There are so many games that have fantastic writing. There are good games. There are well-written games. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a well-written game. Celeste is a phenomenally written game. That game brings me to tears more than almost any game I've ever played. It is so touching. Stardew Valley is so well written. The characters can be a little bit two-dimensional, but in a way where they're supposed to be. Like you see the depth, but you're also in this place where you're just getting to know them. So you're kind of just like seeing snapshots of their life. It's marvelous. It's so good. There's a lot of good writing out there, but for every brilliantly written game, there is a ton of garbage. And the stuff that drives me crazy about it is the games that should have good writing. The games where there's so much money going into it, and then you go, okay, so you just like threw together the script in a day? Like, what's going on with this one? Why is this happening? Why is everything such a disaster? And then you've got a masterpiece like Baldur's Gate 3, which is well written across multiple different potential paths and all these different. Oh my God, I can't even begin to. I've only finished the first act of that game. Maybe it falls apart in the end. Who knows? I don't think so. I doubt it. But I've heard that it does lose a little bit of its oomph as it gets deeper into the game. Okay, my point is there is such incredible writing out there, but some of it is just not for me. And some of it is just incredible by video game standards. And there are a few games that I want to call out that it's going to be a little harsh. It's going to be a little mean here. But I feel like in the JRPG genre specifically, we judge video game writing differently. if you look at a Japanese RPG, if you look at a turn-based RPG, the scale of good to bad writing is skewed. There's a bell curve going on where a game can be pretty badly written and be considered one of the greatest stories in the genre. Now, maybe that's a little bit of an overstatement, but I think you know what I'm talking about. I think if you've really gone deep on the genre, you probably can at least understand my perspective here. If I say Final Fantasy X is not that good of a story, a lot of people are going to be really upset with me. But I hope you can look at it and you can go, okay, I see where he's coming from, though. It is really confusing, and it only like makes sense in retrospect, and it's not like there's a huge light bulb moment that's like really satisfying and like really great. It's like you get to the end of the game and you've forgotten everything that's going on because there's so much grinding, and by the time you get to the satisfying conclusion, you're like, what was what is this like twist ending? It's like if an M. Night Shyamalan movie lasted for like 70 hours and 50 to 60 of those hours were just you grinding against enemies. You kind of forget some of the details, and then the surprise twist ending comes, and you're like, huh? What? What are you talking about? Okay, whatever, right? That's a big problem that we run into. And honestly, the characters in that game, I don't like them. They're so direct. They're so blunt. They're so on the nose with everything. I'm sorry, I'm doing this. Let me give you a little bit of a hint as to where this is leading. I'm leading into why I love the writing in another game. So bear with the negativity for just a moment. I swear to God, so many games do this thing where they just go, I'm sad because this happened. Oh, we should all band together to protect this person. Oh, we're all in alignment. We're all working together perfectly. Oh, there's conflict, but it's direct. It's right here. Everybody sees it. It's on the nose. It is in your face. Look at these two characters scowling at each other. Oh, they just got in an argument, and somebody else commented on how they shouldn't argue because we have a job to do and we've all got to work together. Hooray. I hate it. And I didn't realize how much it bothers me until I experienced like an hour and a half of just like a nice subtle introduction to a world. And I know the whole game isn't going to be like this, but there was just a moment while I was playing Expedition 33 where I went, "Oh, wait a minute." And it just sparked something in me. It made me go, game writing doesn't have to be so on the nose all the time. It doesn't have to be that way. There are so many times when things are direct and over the top in ways that we don't even notice that they're direct and over the top, where people are directly stating how they feel, telling you exactly what their problem is, navigating conflict through a strong emotional conversation and being epic about it and all this nonsense. And there was just a moment at the beginning of Expedition 33 where I went, oh my God, everybody is talking around something. Every single character is intentionally not saying exactly what they're talking about. Even the word for the thing that they're talking about is intentionally in a different language and italicized, and you figure it out. You know what's going to happen. And then it feels like that thing that it's the elephant in the room. Everybody is avoiding talking about it. Everybody is dodging this issue. And then finally it comes through and you go, oh man, here we are. And you know what? To Final Fantasy X's credits, they pulled that off too. I'm thinking about it. They did do that with the whole summoner thing. There was a nobody's talking about it, blah, blah, blah. But here's the difference. In Final Fantasy X, after they resolve this whole thing, they go, oh, here's the big reveal. There's this whole summoner thing, the way the summoner thing works. A character just like blows up and has a temper tantrum about it. All right, I'm being intentionally a little bit vague on the off chance that one of you wants to play that game and hasn't yet, but it's been over 20 years, I think, since it was released. Sorry for everybody who I just made feel absolutely ancient, myself included. Man, that's a rough one. That's rough. Wait, was it 2010? No, it was earlier than that. Oh, no. You know what? Let's stop thinking about it. let's stop thinking about how old I am. Main character throws a temper tantrum when he finds out this bad news. In this game, in Expedition 33, everybody knows what's coming. There's fate there's like this whole acceptance thing, and I just love it so much. And I understand it's a different setup, it's a whole different thing, but I just love not having a character do an over the top reaction. I love it just being deep and emotional and painful and quiet and subtle while still just slapping you across the face. Subtlety doesn't mean they might not notice it, right? It just means it's not so over the top. And I want more writing in video games that is quietly painful, quietly joyous, and just so impactful without somebody telling you, feel sad now, feel happy now. Look at how challenging this situation is. Watch them band together. And then, oh, here comes I'm ranting. I'm going off on this because I'm so passionate about it. Let's look at Celeste for a moment. Celeste is a masterpiece in having a deeply emotional conversation without just slapping you across the face with it, which is so good. It's one of the reasons why I love this game. In normal day-to-day life, when you are having an emotional conversation with somebody, unless they are very, very in tune with themselves, you're usually not going to have this thing where they tell you exactly how they're feeling and why, right? There's usually a lot of vague stuff to it, and there's usually, if they're getting too close to the emotions, they'll kind of like hedge up against it and like pull back from it and avoid it and use different words to talk about whatever they're feeling and kind of like circle around it. And if they get direct to the point, it usually hits differently, right? There's usually a story involved, right? Somebody makes you understand how sad they feel by saying some metaphor, by saying, one time when I was growing up, this thing happened to me, and I don't know, this just kind of reminds me of that, right? That's like as direct as people get sometimes. And it's so good when a character is written in a way where you can see the internal struggle just by the way that they're communicating. And I I have trouble articulating exactly what my issue is with the way that Final Fantasy X's writing is, because it does this. But some of you understand what I'm saying, right? It does this. Sure. Yep. It does it. It does it. We avoid talking about this, and maybe it's the voice direction and the voice acting, but there's something about it that is just not quite hitting, and it helps to have really good voice acting. That's huge, and I am picky about voice acting. I am of the school of don't include it. I think you either have to have incredible voice acting like Baldur's Gate 3 did, and it seems like Expedition 33 has done the same thing. They've just made the voice acting absolutely top tier. It seems like you either have to have that or no voice acting at all. And I've ranted about this before. It's a big thing for me. But I hope that this gives you an understanding of my opinion on this, and I hope that you're there with me, or you can at least understand a little bit that it means so much to have a good story. That is the stuff that makes me cry. That is the stuff that makes me go, oh my God, this game is a work of art. I can connect with these characters. I can look into myself. I can wonder how I would handle this situation. And I can remember moments in my life that I've felt this way, and I can connect those moments to the game, and now I'm deeply connected to these characters. Oh, this guy's avoiding talking about this thing, but he's kind of touching on it, and somebody else wants to know, but they're not comfortable prying too much. This reminds me of this. I really relate to this character. I don't relate to Titus screaming about his father in Final Fantasy X. I don't know. He's whiny. It bothers me. I like that game, by the way. I think it's a good game, and I think it's well worth playing. And I think the story is actually, it's all right. It's good. It's not really for me, but it's good. It's good, I guess. I don't know why I have such a thing about that one. I think it's the voice acting, but like, just I just wish, and it's happening actually. I wish there were more games that just have stories that relate to me more, right? That are easier to connect to. And I want them to be really well written dialogue. Well written dialogue. Jesus, please give me well written dialogue. People praised the story in Final Fantasy 16, in Final Fantasy 14. The story in Final Fantasy 14 is one of the worst experiences I've ever had in a video game story. I'm sorry. I hated it. I'm talking about the initial stuff, by the way. The first 60 levels, the free thing that you can. I was like, why do people praise this story? Oh my god! And everybody's like, oh, you got to get into the expansion content, and they're like, oh, okay. And then I never got there. It's not actually the worst. That was hyperbole by a lot. There are way worse video game stories than that. But boy, it was boring for me. I did not like it. Final Fantasy 16 story is good. It's dark. It's got some good moments, but man, some of the writing slaps you across the face, and I don't like that. Not like at the right moment either. If it's going to slap you across the face, it's got to happen at the right moment, right? I'm ranting about this too much, too passionate about it. Let's start talking about how this can apply to our own game development. Look, I'm going to say something really annoying here and something that I would not normally say because it could be interpreted as discouraging. So here it is. Don't write a story if you don't want to. If you're not passionate about it, if you're not excited about it, if you're not going to craft it into something good, into something enjoyable, into something incredible, if you're not looking forward to fleshing out this world, then don't do it. And when you do it, please take a space, take a little time away from the story, and then come back and read it when it's not so fresh, because more than anything that I can think of, writing looks better right after you did it. And if you give it 2 weeks, you'll look at it again and you'll go, what the heck was I doing? Oh my God, this is a disaster. It makes no sense. I didn't communicate my ideas properly at all. There's something about writing where, in your head, it makes sense. You get it. You understand exactly what you're trying to say. So if you read it right after you finished writing it, you still understand it. You go, oh, I got everything across so well. If you read it a week later, after you don't look at it at all for a week straight, then you read it and you go, what? What was I getting at? This makes no sense whatsoever. So please, if your game is story heavy, if you really want to convey something powerful through dialogue, through mostly dialogue is what I'm talking about. Like if it's written, if it's text, if it's that kind of story, if it's closer to a novel than a game, if there's just a lot of moments where characters are interacting and the characters matter, for the love of God, don't just take one pass at it and declare it perfect, because you can make so many improvements so easily if you just manage your time a little bit, give yourself a week or two, and then reread it and just step it up. This is not a situation where you have to grind away at your code forever. Writing can be difficult, but the most important thing is to just take a pass at it, take a step back, take another pass at it. Have somebody else look at it. If you have somebody who's good at giving feedback, that can be really tricky with writing, because a lot of people just rewrite your stuff, and that is not good. But just, give it some space, and don't feel like you have to put a story in your game in that way. You do not have to tell a story through the written word. Do not do it if you don't want to. Don't Do that. Tell it through animation, tell it through music, tell it through color, tell it through whatever it is that works for you. Use your skills. Don't go, oh, I have to make this game have this grand story. That's what people do in this genre. Don't worry about that. Play to your skills. Change the genre. Make it into what you want to make it into, because people will love that you're taking a new take on it. Now, your game might not be the biggest thing. People may not love your game, but you will love that you explored your strengths. Right? You're going to walk away from it and you're going, oh my God, I expressed this and I did it in this way. And now I can do it even better the next time. And I'm building on my strengths. And oh, it's a beautiful thing. So please explore creating a story visually, musically, through gameplay. You can use symbols and characters' facial expressions. If you are not good with the written word, either take the time to learn it, because, boy, bad story is very evident to everyone pretty quickly. Like we all, speak, we all read, we all have a lot of experience with stories. So if a story is really poorly told, it's gonna hurt a little bit. It might be funny. That's the other thing. You could make a story so bad that it helps your sales by just being hilarious, or makes your game better by just being hilarious. More importantly, screw the sales. But, know what you're going for. That's my take on it. And I could be completely wrong. I probably am. I usually am. Like, you can also just look at it and go, I want to learn to write a story. So I'm just going to write a story, and it's going to be bad. And who cares? I'm going to publish it, and it's not the end of the world. That's completely true. You can publish an absolute stinker of a story, and the guy who just made this entire episode, will look at your stinker of a story and will go, absolutely amazing. Thank you for making this. Good job. I have notes if you would like them, but I'm so proud of you for making this game, for making this story, for making this project. Please keep doing it. Keep refining your craft. If you need anything, let us know, right? I'm there. We're in your corner. We've got your back. Make stuff. Don't let me rambling about story keep you from making story. Don't let me rambling about gameplay being bad keep you from making bad gameplay. We're gonna make garbage. You will make terrible games. I will make terrible games. We will all make bad stories. We'll all make bad decisions. Things will go wrong, and we will learn from them. And it will make us so much better at what we do. So write that stinker of a story, or, don't. If you don't want to, if you don't look forward to it, if you're not excited about the story side of things, or if the story is not a necessity and there's some clever little way that you can dodge it. Explore that. Please. That sounds exciting. I would much rather have that than another milquetoast protagonist who's just like quiet guy who saves the world. I swear to God, if everybody keeps saving the freaking world, look, I get it. I understand. Sometimes I love it. Saving the world, it's good. It's a good thing. We're gonna save the world. It's a great story. Fine. Can we stop though? Can we do something else? Do we have to save the world every time? Does it have to be like, and then we're gonna, man, come on. Also, why does your protagonist become so freaking powerful? Can we do something? Just come up with a reason. I don't even care. I'm tired of suspending disbelief on, I'm just magically special and incredibly powerful. Just give me something other than the chosen one. Give me something. I don't know. I don't know what that would be. There's an example of it that I'm coming up with, but I'm not going to give it to you right now because it's from something, and I don't want to spoil things. And I don't know. Just like a tool of some sort, a reason, a way that you're negotiating with the gods or something. Anything that doesn't make you just like a magically special boy with no negative consequences would be nice. It'd be nice. I would like that. I think that's enough on this topic. I love this topic so much. I gotta work on a story-based thing because I love writing and I always have. And it's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about it. And I think it's one of the reasons why my standards for writing are really weird. I get more upset than I should about video game writing. Like Final Fantasy 15's writing made me so mad in a couple places because it just was incomplete. The game just wasn't finished, and it showed in the writing so much. Final Fantasy 13's, I know I'm just talking about Final Fantasy games, but they're the biggest games with the worst writing that people praise sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like they're huge. These games are huge, and some of them have just the worst writing I've ever seen. And people are like, oh my God, the story in this game is so good. I'm like, I don't understand. And I'm sorry, but I don't. Final Fantasy 13's writing, if anybody says the writing in Final Fantasy 13, 13-2, and 13 Lightning Returns is good and makes sense, I will fight you. I don't know what else to say. The writing in those games is apocalyptically bad and confusing. It makes no sense. It is a nightmarescape of horrific everything. I can't stand how little sense that entire story makes. I don't even know what the conflict of that story was. I beat every one of those games, all three of them. I don't know why I did that to myself. Some of the gameplay is amazing, actually, and it's, you know what, they're kind of good games. I don't know why I spent so much time in them. Maybe I was just anger playing them because the story. No, I remember playing it. I was like, this game is so good, but man, this story. I remember while I was playing it, I was like, I wish the story just didn't even exist in this game. I can't stand how confusing and bad it is. But hey, sometimes you take the bad with the good, right? Sometimes you play a game that just has an absolute stinker of a story, and you're like, yeah, but it's really nice. It's a really good game. It's got good gameplay. It's kind of pretty. I like some of the strategy elements. I'm gonna play it anyway. Okay. I said I was done rambling. Now I'm actually done rambling. We'll wrap this thing up, and we'll send you on your way to start the week off right with a nice angry rant about stories. Okay, you listened to me go off about this. How about you go off about this? And you don't have to share it. People do the whole thing where they comment, likes, whatever, dude. If you want to chat about this in the Discord, here's a prompt for you. If you just want to think about it yourself, great. Think about it yourself. Maybe even write it down if you're working on a story-based thing. Here's the question. What stories have you loved? What stories have you hated? And then you can go in, you can dig deeper, you can elaborate. But what game stories have you loved? What game stories have you hated? Here's some stuff that I've loved. Here's a tricky one. I loved Planescape Torment, and I also hated Planescape Torment. I loved it because, oh my God, the writing in that game is insane. The world building is absurd. It's one of the deepest and widest games I've ever played. Same exact reason as why I hate it. Jesus Christ, that game is overwhelming. The writing is too much. I can't digest it. It is so overwhelming. It's too much. Pillars of Eternity, great. Also kind of overwhelms me. A little too much world building for me, to be honest. It really, really good. So good. A little too much world building. Celeste, incredible. Absolutely incredible writing. One of my absolute favorites. Stardew Valley, one of my favorites. Spiritfarer, one of my favorites. I talk about these games way too often. Baldur's Gate 3, incredible. Expedition 33, the first 2.5 hours of it already got me locked in, so excited. The Last of Us, probably one for a lot of people. I watched this show, haven't played the game. Red Dead Redemption 2, didn't finish it, got really far, loved the story as far as I got into it. There's a lot of good ones. Resident Evil, weirdly good, terrible dialogue. Good story, worst dialogue ever because of translation issues. So bad. And just incredibly bad. Old school Baldur's Gate, kind of good, kind of bad. Interesting mix. Legend of Dragoon, I love that story. I don't know why, but I do. It's very good. Medieval, I love that one too, right? A lot of these are goofy. Now, on the bad side of things, Azuric. Does anybody remember Azuric from Xbox? It was the most returned Xbox game. It was this terrible game that always seemed like it was going to be good, And then you started playing it and you went, oh yeah, I remember why I returned this. This game sucks. You would just like trade it in at GameStop for like $3, and then you would go and you would get another copy of it for $5 because they got so many trade-ins of this game that it costs nothing at this point. Oh my God, what a weird game. It looked so appealing and was just so bad. To this day, I talk about that game and I go, I kind of want to play Azaric. And then I don't, because I know that I won't enjoy it. So that was a stinker. That was a stinker of a story. There was some pirate game that I played that was awful. Almost every JRPG, the story bothers me somehow. Final Fantasy VIII has one of the most aggravating stories for me because it's so good. And then they do one thing and it makes me so hate everything about it. Final Fantasy X, terrible. Sorry, it's good too. It is good. There are things about it that I hate so much though. 9 is fine. I can just go in on every Final Fantasy game after 7. 7 is actually kind of confusing. I know 7 is like the legendary one and it is really good, but the story is weird. They're all these stories are weird and confusing. 12, political story. I'm realizing I don't like Final Fantasy games. For how much I talk about them, I don't think I actually like them. I do. I like them. That's why I have so many critiques of them, because I've played them way too much. Man. You know what? What's interesting is as I'm coming up with games that I don't like the story of, I'm realizing that I like more about game stories than I don't like. And that's why this is a weird one for me to talk about, because I just think they can be better. Like, even all the games that I listed where I'm like, oh, I like this one and this one and this one and this one. I'm like, and they could be better, you know? Oh, Diablo 3, hate that story. Oh, my God. Oh my. That one is one that makes me actually angry. I do not like the story of Diablo 3 at all. It is so upsetting to me. It feels like that's one that I don't like. Diablo 2, I can get behind that. Okay. You get the idea. There I didn't even talk about many that I dislike at the end there. All right. Just every game that formed my childhood, apparently. The entire series that I grew up on. Ooh, you know what is a good Final Fantasy story? Is Final Fantasy Tactics. That's good. That one's nice. I like that one a lot. Oh, and then like there's just stuff like Mech Warrior that's just like kind of weird, you know. Front Mission 3 is pretty good. But the writing in that is pretty bad. Front Mission 3 has some really bad dialogue. You know, Legend of the Dragoon has some really bad dialogue too. There's a lot of bad dialogue out there. All the Resident Evil games. It's all over the place. It is. There's so many really good games that are marred by just horrific moments. Just some of the worst writing just out of nowhere, and a lot of it's translation issues. I understand that. But then you get some Western game that's just like Skyrim. Look, it's a good game, but the story's not that good. I'm sorry. Oblivion, there are moments in Oblivion where the story is absolutely incredible. Some of the side quests are my favorite story moments in gaming. And then there are moments in Oblivion where I'm like, come on, dude. Really? We're gonna just do this weird chosen one-ish kind of thing, and I don't know. The quests are very hit or miss in that game for me. But man, one or two of those quest lines are so good. Okay, all right. Let's leave it there. Let's get out of here. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Chris rants about video game stories and repeats himself way too much because he's extremely passionate about it. I'll see you in the next one. Maybe I'll be a little bit more structured. Or maybe you enjoy this. Who knows? That's everything I've got for you this week. I'll see you next time. Until then, get out there, make some stuff, and have fun with it. Bye-bye.